Hey friends, Elizabeth here from Plant-Based Bride, and I'm back with another video. This time I'm talking about 25 things I've learned in 25 years. So I'm about to turn 26 a couple days from when this video goes up, and I thought it was a good time to talk about 25 things that I've learned in my past 25 years on this planet. My hair is really bugging me today, so if I touch it every 3 seconds, I really apologize, but it's super long and it's always everywhere, and it's just, I might put it in a top knot, because listen, you know, that's one of the things I've learned in 25 years. Top knots are appropriate for every occasion. That was a bonus one. That's not one of my 25. That's just extra knowledge for all of you. Number 1, things can get better. Number 2, you are worthy of love and respect exactly as you are. Number 3, it's okay to ask for what you need and to ask for help. Number 4, life is incredibly short, so do your best to spend as much of it as you can doing what you love with the people you love. Number 5, you are your toughest critic. Number 6, self-care is of the utmost importance. Number 7, with that said, self-care doesn't look the same for everyone and doesn't solve every problem. Number 8, one person can make a difference. So do your best to leave the world a better place than when you entered it. You can change the world. Yes, you. Number 9, absolutely no one knows what they're doing. We are all making it up as we go along. Number 10, when something really annoys you about someone else, it's a good time to look into yourself and try to figure out why it bothers you so much. Because it might be coming from something that you feel about yourself. And then vice versa. If someone is constantly criticizing you for something, realize that that probably means that that's something that they judge themselves for, something that they still have to deal with. Number 11, dogs are not better than cats, and cats are not better than dogs. They are equally incredible, and we are not worthy of their wonderful, wonderful fluffy love. Except we are all worthy because we're all worthy of love. But you know what I mean. Number 12, doing more is not always better, and burnout is not fun. It is okay to need time to rest. Number 13, there are no bad feelings, none whatsoever. You are allowed to feel whatever it is you feel, and that is totally fine and okay. Number 14, spending time in nature is incredibly healing, but it is not a panacea. Number 15, therapy is so important. If you are not currently in therapy, I highly recommend it. Even if you don't think you need it, you probably do, because humans are very complicated. We have a lot of feelings, a lot of experiences, and we're not very good at dealing with them or processing them on our own. It's hard to get the kind of support from someone who isn't trained or who has a personal stake in your life. So if you're not in therapy, I highly recommend it. If you can't find or can't afford a therapist in person in your area, check out BetterHelp. The link will be in the description. It's an online counseling service. It's very affordable. It's awesome. I am not sponsored, but I am an affiliate. So if you decide to sign up through that link, I'll get a little bit of a kickback. That goes straight to my own therapy, so thank you very much. Number 16, you can care about more than one thing at a time. For example, you can care about animals, and you can also care about the environment, and you can also care about people. Those things are not mutually exclusive. Number 17, that last point brings me to my next one, which is that intersectionality is so important. If you aren't aware of what intersectionality is, if you've never heard that term before, I believe I have a video on it. I'll link it below, but I know I have a blog post I wrote about it, specifically about why vegans should be intersectional, but it really can apply to everyone and kind of explains what intersectionality is. So you may notice that I look a little different. That's because I'm filming this a couple weeks later from the rest of the footage. The last clip inexplicably disappeared, so here I am to finish the video on a brand new day. And I think this is a good opportunity to add another little bonus thing I've learned into this video, which is that life will not always go according to plan, and that's okay. And it's okay to just go with the flow and for things to not be as perfect as you'd imagined them, and that doesn't make them less worthy or less valuable or less important. And that's something my perfectionist self needs to hear more often. So what I was talking about when I was rudely interrupted by my SD card forgetting how to do its job was intersectionality. So like I said, I wrote a blog post about intersectionality a couple years ago, which I will link for you in the description box if you want to check it out. But it really works in general as a little bit of a primer on intersectionality, what it is, and why it's important. Number 18, it's healthy to check your privilege, but it's okay to recognize that having privilege doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have an easy life. You shouldn't feel guilty about having privilege, but you should recognize it. For example, I'm a white woman, which means I have a lot of privilege tied to my skin color that I was born with and did nothing to earn. It's important for me to recognize that and know that. This is a super complicated issue, and I'm definitely not an expert, but it's something that I'm developing a deeper understanding of the older I get. Number 19, uncomfortable shoes are never worth it. Literally never. Number 20, it's okay to say no, and no is a complete sentence. Number 21, wear whatever the fuck you want, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Number 22, your body is beautiful exactly the way it is right now, but it's also okay to not like parts of it sometimes. 23, material possessions won't make you happy. Number 24, put yourself first, especially when it comes to your health. This is something that has been very hard for me to learn, and I am still working on it, but I am starting to get to the point that I'm recognizing that if I need a drink of water, I need a drink of water. There are some extreme circumstances in which it's really not possible, but for the most part, if you need to drink water or you need to eat food or you need to sit down for your health, those things should be accommodated, and your health really does come first. And lastly, number 25, don't be afraid to act like a kid. You're never too old to do exactly what you want to do and be 100% your authentic self and tell people how you feel about them. If you meet somebody new and you think they're awesome and you want to be their friend, just pretend you're 10 again and tell them. You can just say, you're a super cool human. I feel like we would really get along and I want to be your friend. Do you want to go for a drink next week? The worst case scenario is that it doesn't work out and then you're back where you started. And if that does happen, remember how you used to deal with that kind of rejection as a kid. It wasn't soul crushing, it was just a thing that happened. Not everyone ends up friends, and kids are a lot more open to the fact that you have to be vulnerable to create new relationships, and sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. You'll never create those relationships if you don't put yourself out there in the first place. I think this is a big reason why so many adults struggle with making new friends, and you see billions of articles every year talking about how to make friends as an adult and commiserating about the difficulties of friendships, maintaining friendships, making new friendships, creating meaningful relationships in general as an adult. So act like you're a kid, because you still are. You're the same person as you were when you were 5 or 10 or 15. And you can still make friends the way you did back then. And I promise you, other adults your age also want to make new friends and have deep, meaningful relationships with people that are not necessarily romantic. So just put yourself out there. That's it for this week's video. Next time I see you, I will be 26 years old. And if you want to give me a birthday present, feel free to subscribe and like this video. And I'll see you real soon in the next one. Bye, friends.